Hello, can all participants hear me? All both the teams, Team 510 and Team 514, can hear me?
Yes, sir.
514 is here, sir, reporting.
And team 510. Okay, this is this information. We would be just logging out for a few seconds. All right. So you all are requested to rejoin within 2 minutes after disconnecting from this meeting. Okay. You can rejoin from the same link within 2 minutes after disconnecting this meeting. Is that clear to you? Then we will start. Both the teams.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for rejoining. Uh, it will take just 2 minutes. We are just waiting for our judges. Thank you. Hello. Yes, am I audible to you? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So sorry for the delay. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of Adhivakta Parishad Delhi High Court Unit, we are pleased to welcome you all. Let me introduce you by the honorable judges who will be judging our today's mood competition. The first judge is Shri Krishan Mohan Ji. He has over 14 years of experience in civil, commercial, insurance, and criminal matters. He holds the ASJ panel for Central Delhi State Legal Service Authority. We are extremely delighted to have him, who is working and serving to the larger section of society. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Uh, Before starting the competition, we fully appreciate you for finding the time to be with us despite your tight schedule, sir. First of all, I would request all the participants to please uh, on their cameras. Please put your cameras on. All the participants are requested to put their cameras on, please. Thank you. All the participants are required to please notify their time strategies. Each time has 30-minute maximum and 20 minutes maximum per speaker, and 5 minutes will be reserved for the rebuttal round. First, the defense, the prosecution 514. Please tell your time.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, you are audible.
Sir, 12 minutes for first speaker and 13 minutes for the second speaker and 5 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay. And team 510?
So 13 minutes for the speaker 1, 15 minutes for speaker 2, and 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay. At this point of time, I would like to welcome Shri Akash Tomar ji. Good morning, sir. Hello, sir. Am I audible to you? Hello. Hello everyone, sorry for the delay. Uh, so the prosecution would be starting first. Yes, you can start.
So can we start?
Yes, please.
May I please this honorable court, myself, counsel number 1, appearing on behalf of the state in the matter in hand, state versus Samir and others. With the prior permission of the bench, shall I move to the fact of the case? With the prior permission of the bench, shall I move to the fact of the case?
Yes, you may proceed.
Much obliged, your lordship. So here in this case, based on the secret information, officers of Special Cell of Delhi Police raided the general coach of Faraka Express train on its arrival at the old Delhi railway station on 25/2/2015. During the search, two suspect persons, Samir and Monu, were detained. Further, during the search of their baggage, 250 notes of high quality fake Indian currency notes of having a face value which is equivalent to rupees 5 lakh were recovered from Samir. So similarly, such 250 notes of high quality FICs were also recovered from Monu. So besides the belongings, including the railway tickets of train journey from Malda to Delhi, were also recovered from their possession. All the items recovered were seized in the presence of independent witnesses. So, on further examination, it was revealed that accused persons were coming from Malda, and on preliminary questioning, they revealed that they have procured the seized fake currency note from Kalu and Mama of Malda. Accordingly, the special cell arrested Samir and Monu and registered an FIR under Section 120B, 489B, 489C IPC and commenced investigation. So subsequently, the seized FICN was sent to CFSL, CBI at New Delhi for expert examination. A preliminary report of CFSL opined that the seized FICN is of high quality. So accordingly, on receipt of this said opinion, the special cell invoked offences under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, and as per the order issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs during the and directing the to investigate the case. NIA re-registered the case as on 11/5/2015 under Section 120B, 489B, 489C of IPC and commenced investigation, and subsequently Section 16, 17, 18 and 20 of UAP Act 1967 was invoked. If your lordships are well versed with the fact of the case, shall I move to the issues?
Yes, you may proceed.
Much obliged, your lordship. So the first issue is whether the allegation against Samir, Monu and Kaluet Mama under Section 489B, 489C, 120B, 121, 123 and 201 of IPC have a valid ground. And the second issue, whether the accused persons can be convicted or not. And the third issue, whether an allegation that the accused persons, namely Samir, Monu and Kaluet Mama, have committed offences under Section 16, 17, 18 and 20 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act is valid. So I will be dealing with the first issue and my co-counsel will be dealing with the other two issues. With the prior permission of the bench, shall I move to the arguments of the first issue?
Yes, proceed.
Much obliged, your lordship. So the first issue is whether the allegation against Samir, Monu and Kaluet Mama under Section 489B, 489C, 120B and 121, 123 and 201 of IPC is having a valid ground. So we can say that the allegation against Samir, Monu and Kaluet Mama under Section 489B, 489C, 120B, 121, 123 and 201 of IPC is clearly having a valid ground. So first we can take the case of Section 489B. So 489B of IPC states about the punishment for using as genuine, forged or counterfeit currency notes or bank notes. So in this case, the high quality fake currency notes were recovered from Samir and Monu, and during the interrogation, they disclosed that they knowingly collected these aforesaid from their associate Kaluet Mama, who resides at Malda. They also revealed that the FICN of rupees 5 lakh denomination was to be delivered to Pulwama at Jammu and Kashmir to Peter, who have contacted them. So they further informed that the said FICN's notes were to be utilized for the bomb blast on the army convoy on 15th August 2015. So the photographs of the currency notes and the numbers of the these FICNs recovered are clear-cut evidence to show that recovered as fake. So therefore, allegation against Samir, Monu, and Kaluet Mama under Section 489B is clearly a valid one. So now the question is regarding Section 489C. So Section 489C of IPC, it punishes the person who is in possession of forged or counterfeit currency note or bank. So in the case, we have to analyze one of the important case, that is Pramukh Kumar versus State of Uttarakhand. So here in this case, the accused person was found in possession of the 3 fake currency notes of denomination of rupees 1000, and they are held liable under Section 489 of IPC by the Sessions Court. So in another case is that Jasveer Singh versus State of Punjab. So here in this case, the fake currency notes were recovered from the appellant, and he was held liable under Section 489C and 489D of IPC. So, by relying on these cases, it is clear that FICN were recovered from Samir and Monu, and the number which has been laid currencies and the photographs itself shows that the currency notes are fake, which clearly amounts to the commission of offense under Section 489C of IPC. And also, it is evident that Samir and Monu got these FICNs from Kaluet Mama. Hence, it is clear that the FICNs were firstly in possession of Kaluet Mama. So, therefore, there is nothing wrong in imposing the offense under Section 489C on Kaluet Mama also. So, from which it can be clearly held that the Samir, Monu, and Kaluet Mama has also committed offense under section 489C of IPC. So now it is regarding Section 120B of IPC. So Section 120B states about the punishment of criminal conspiracy. In order to constitute the abatement of conspiracy, 4 things are essential. First one, there must be at least 2 persons, and the second one, they must engage in the commission of an act, and the third one, that is an act or must take place in pursuance of the conspiracy, and the last one, the act or omission must take place or taken place in order to the doing of that act. So in our case, from the NIA investigation, it has been clearly established that both Samir and Monu is in conspiracy with Kaluet Mama, Peter, and Sohail were closely associated as a gang which was actively involving in criminal conspiracy for purchase, procurement, transportation, and financing of fake currency notes for distribution across the country, and therefore such action clearly shows a terrorist conspiracy with a gang causing damage to monetary stability of India. So, NIA team had also found one public witness whose name is Shah Rukh Khan, who had seen with Kaluet Mama and one unknown person. So, as this incident occurred recently, which gives us a presumption that the planning that had taken place there might be regarding this bomb. So therefore, it is evident that Kaluet Mama had engaged in criminal conspiracy, and Section 120B can be attracted against him. So in case of Samir and Monu, even though they didn't have constant touch with Sohail, but they are also part of this conspiracy, because the FICN needed for the bomb blast is being carried by Monu and Samir. And during the course of interrogation, Samir and Monu have admitted the purpose for which these fake currency notes are being carried for. So hence, here also the element of criminal conspiracy under Section 120B of IPC are satisfying in case of Samir and Monu also. Therefore, we can clearly say that Section 120B can be attracted against Samir, Monu, and Kaluet Mama. So the next section that has to be looked into is Section 121. Section 121 states about the punishment for waging or attempting to wage war or against the government of India. The essentials of the offences are the accused must have waged war or attempted to wage war or abetted of war. Such a war must be against the state. So here in this case, NIA, when taken the mobile records, the regular contact between Sohail and Kaluet Mama, as well as regular contact between Monu, Samir, and Kaluet Mama has been seen. So Monu and Samir had revealed to NIA that FICNs that they were carrying will be given to Sohail to be used for bomb blast. And also from the 161 statement of PW2, that is Iqbal Khan. So here, which is a common friend of Samir and Monu, it is evident that Kaluet Mama has a strong feeling against our country and we are preparing to wage war against the state when gets a chance. So Kalwit Mama had destroyed the evidence that were left in Sohail's house because he knows that if those evidences are left in Sohail's house, it will become a strong evidence to reveal his attempt or to reveal his attempt to wage war against the state. So by giving FICN to Monu and Samir to carry it to Pulwama for the bomb blast itself, it's an attempt to wage war against the state. So because here by doing that, Kaluet Mama had taken some steps to wage a war. So therefore, it can be clearly held that Samir, Monu, and Kaluet Mama have committed an offense under Section 121 IPC also.
Speaker.
So okay.
Hey, Speaker. Primary objection. Just tell me one thing. That bag which from possession of this Samir, that was on his pointing out. That is from his possession. Can you specify that?
Sir, you're not audible properly, sir. Can you repeat once more? Can you repeat once more, sir?
Am I audible now? Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
I'm just
Yes, sir, yes.
asking that bag which has been recovered from Samir, is it from his possession or his pointing out?
Sir, is it from a sir?
That particular bag from which the fake currency note has been seized, okay, that has been recovered from his pointing out or from his possession?
Yes, it was in possession of Samir and Monu, sir. And it has been recovered from Kaluet Mama.
That's the primary thing I'm asking you. Is it, just tell me one thing, recovered from their possession or their pointing out?
No, it has been recovered from their possession.
From their possession. 100% sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take care. Carry on. Just slow down a bit, है ना?
Okay, sir.
Perfect.
So next is regarding section 123. It states about punishment for concealing with intent to facilitate a design stage. So in this case, Samir and Monu had revealed to the NIA that the said FICNs carried by them were to be utilized for this bomb blast on army convoy. So they also revealed that it was as per the instructions of this Kaluet Mama that they were asked to travel to Pulwama. So he further revealed that Kaluet Mama was taking instruction from someone else who was doing the main planning. So the accused Samir admitted his involvement in the case and disclosed the involvement of other accused person, that is Kaluet Mama and Peter. He further informed that Sohail was also in close touch with Lashkar-e-Taiba, that is the senior people from Pakistan. Who admitted to NIA that Kaluet Mama had received instruction from Pakistan and Bangladesh with the blast code. So hence section 121 and 123 has a valid ground because the condition for the above mentioned section to apply is satisfied. So last is regarding section 201 of IPC, which states about the punishment for causing disappearance of evidence of offense or giving false information to screen offender. So during the course of the investigation, Sohail's house was searched a number of times, but incriminating substance could not be recovered as Kaluet Mama had destroyed all the evidences. So here, the destroying of the evidence required for proving the allegation was done by Kaluet Mama, hence section 201 of IPC will be attracted against Kaluet Mama. So we can look into one of the important cases, that is Palvinder Kaur versus state. Here, in this case, the appellant and another were charged with murder and also under the
Speaker.
section. Okay, sir.
This destroying of evidence under 201 IPC, that was allegedly committed by Kallu alias Mama, right?
Yeah,
Not by
Kaluet
Samir.
Mama. Kaluet Mama.
Huh?
Yes.
So means you are, because we are talking in terms of Sameer. So there is Sameer and the another one also. There are no allegation of 201 against them, right? So
But
as per your arguments, the only allegations against Sameer and Monu are regarding which sections?
in case of 201, Kaluet Mama had
I'm
tried to.
asking in regards of accused number one and accused number two, Sameer and Monu. Can you specify what are the section and offences they can be charged with? Because as
So
per
except
201, they are
201,
not getting in. Huh?
except 201, except 201.
201 cannot be make out against them because it previously you just stated that Kalu alias Mama has been trying to destroy them, right?
Yes, Kaluet Mama can be charged with section 201, but Samir
So
and Monu.
you are admitting the fact that it cannot be made against Sameer and Monu, who are happens to be accused number one and accused number two, right?
Yes.
You are admitting this fact.
Yes.
So this is the admitted case of prosecution right now.
No, only with
Carry on,
regarding
carry on,
section. Only with regarding
carry
to
on,
this
carry
section.
on, carry on, carry on. You don't have enough time.
Okay. So, in one of the case, Palvinder Kaur versus state, the appellant and another were charged with murder and also under section for disposing the body of the deceased by putting it in a trunk and throwing it into a well after having killed him by poisoning. So and also in another important case, Baklora Chowdhury versus state. Here, the Patna High Court has convicted that the deceased husband under this section, even though they had been acquitted of the murder charge because of lack of evidence. So because they had disposed the body in suspicious circumstances. So by relying on these cases, it can be clearly held that Kaluet Mama has committed an offense under section 201 of IPC. So therefore, there can be concluded that that the charges lodged against Samir, Monu, and Kaluet Mama under section 489B, 489C, 120B, and 121, 123, and 201 of IPC is having a valid ground. 201 in case of Kaluet Mama only. So if your lordships are convinced with the arguments, the rest of the issues will be dealt by my co-counsel.
I need one more question to clarify. Speaker,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
you said that section 121 is also attacked against all these accused person, right?
Yes, 121.
121 in regards of waging or attempt of waging war or awaiting or waging of war against the government of India, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
tell me one thing. When Sameer and Monu are traveling together, the bag has been apprehended from them, right?
So here, Samir and Monu.
My question is
Okay.
still there, please.
Okay.
When the bag has been recovered from their possession, after that, on confessional statement of these two persons, everything just came up out of nowhere, right? And they just admitted their guilt in front of investigating officer. And as per Evidence Act, that confessional statement cannot be admissible in Evidence Act, right? So how can you be so sure that they are going to wage a war or an attempt to wage a war?
So here, from the while the interrogation with Samir and Monu, the investigation agency had recovered or had conducted investigation. They had gone to the house of Samir for the search, and after that, there is a public witness also named Iqbal Khan, PW2, and from him
But
also
the
it is.
but the investigating agencies haven't recovered anything concrete from their house or any other place.
Because it was destroyed by Kaluet Mama. When they searched for,
How can be prosecution so sure? Because it can be a cooked up story. You might have falsely implicated someone else.
no, it cannot be told like that because they have conducted the investigation on the basis of the comments or on the basis of the argument, things which is being made by Samir and Monu, and they have conducted information, and from there they have came across to public witness
Speaker, just tell me one thing. What concrete evidence have you guys recovered? Means by during the investigation, what are the concrete evidence you
Mobile
guys
phone
have
records have been
recovered?
mobile records have been.
That's the CDR, right?
Yes.
CDR. Apart from CDR, any other things? They might be friends. They might know each other.
Yes, they
They have
might
the
know.
reason to talk to each other now. That means there is any other witness who has seen them planting a bomb, buying RDX or any other thing.
They have one of the witness has seen them planning or
The same witness was brought up by investigating agencies, right? So how can
no,
we rely
no,
upon
no,
them? It can be a implanted one.
no, no. It cannot be because there is concrete proof now. So
Okay, next. Okay.
it was indeed an honor to plead before this honorable court.
My lord, please grant me the permission to speak in front of this honorable court to deal with issue number 2 and issue number 3. My lord, if you are giving me the permission, I can move forward.
Sure.
My permission?
Sure.
Much obliged, my lord. So, the second issue is whether the person can be convicted or not, which is Kalwed Mama, Monu, and Summer can be convicted or not. The offences that are charged on these accused are 120B, 189B, 189C, section 121 and 123 and 201 of IPC, which are deliberately dealt by my first counsel, and 16, 17, 18, 20 of Unlawful Prevention Act 1967. Section 120B is dealing with criminal conspiracy, which need for essential to be constituted. One must be, two or more persons must be there engaged in an activity, or an act or omission is needed, and the act or omission must have been taken in place. So let's come back to the case. Here, I am really very sorry to say this. There is some kind of really bad disturbance is coming to us, which I am not able to speak. Thank you. So, here, two young people traveling with a bag full of money, and that too fake notes of high quality, which are unable to even identify. Police of NIA beyond doubt proves with significant scientific evidence that the currencies are fake. Phone calls were constantly made it from these three people who are arrested, and it's beyond proof actually. Police and INA beyond doubt proves with both scientific evidence and the technical evidence that the scientific evidence is that the currency is fake. The technical evidence is from the phone records. And now I'd like to come to the question that asked by my honorable judge to my first co-counsel. Let's pretend that the council had forged documents or just made up the story. Isn't it really weird? I mean, it sounds weird. I mean, let's take in case analyze that we mistook in this case. Nowadays banking is really easy. An amount of 5 lakh rupees is carried through a train. Closed in a bag and wrapped up in a. I don't get that point. I mean, wrapped in a cloth, in a palu. And when police confiscated it, they say that they didn't know that's a fake currency. And it's really hard. I mean, in a snap, you can transfer amounts through banking services. Now it's really easy. Why
Counsel.
do they go for such a detailed, such a terrific method? Why did they use such a terrific method? That's really suspicious. When banking is such an easy one, when banking can become such a convenient one. My lord, this
Counsel. You are talking about 2,000 rupee note, and that too of 5 lakhs, right? How much that will be count? Have you seen 5 lakh cash? I'm just
5
asking this
lakh.
very.
Actually,
5
5
lakh
lakh
cash
cash
is
is
just like carrying something in your pocket and no one will be knowing. And
no
in
one will
terms
be
of
knowing.
2,000.
And
Secondly, just hold on a second, speaker. And secondly, that how honest of these alleged accused persons, when they saw the investigating agency, very honestly, they just admit their guilt without saying anything. Means that's really
They are
weird.
not in a position to say anything, sir, because all the technical evidence, all the scientific evidence, all the
Council,
witnesses are against
council,
them.
council. Even they are not in position to clarify the matter. First thing. Second thing, if the FSL is stating that this particular notes are fake currency, after how much time that particular notes has been sent to FSL? Is it on the same day? Is it on the next day? Or is it on the day to day? Means after how many days the same report has been sent to FSL? Have you written this something in your memorial? Okay, after how many days, how much time they what are the time that particular amount was kept in possession of investigating agencies? They can tamper with it. It might possible they are getting the real ones. They can tamper with it. Means what's the chain of possession here? Chain of possession was tampered by the investigating agencies. Means if this is your argument, then you are getting stuck. Please be
Actually,
careful.
tamperment, I don't know, the tamperment is really the least concern. I mean,
Right,
people who are,
tampering is the major issue here because FSL has supported that particular note is are fake in nature. Okay, so for how much time that particular notes are in possession of investigating agencies? Can you specify that? Or you can answer this thing ki after how many days or after how many hours that particular fake currency notes has been issued to the concerned FSL. Do you know this thing or have you written somewhere in your memorial about the same thing? I don't think so because I've read your memorial. Carry on.
yes.
It's okay. It's okay. Carry
So,
on.
okay. So that's
Come to
with
the issue
the,
number second. Come to the issue number second and just explain us how all the section can convict these accused persons. Because as per the primary allegations and averments and arguments of both the councils, I am very much satisfied that everything is against one Kallu alias Mamu, not against rest of the means because the prosecution case is very much adamant against Kallu alias Mamu, except the other four accused persons with whom the CDR has been recovered and any other evidence which was allegedly recovered from their possession. Please carry on. Issue number second.
okay, so issue number three is whether the allegation of Samir, Monu, and Kelvin Mama under section 16, 17, 18, 20 are unlawful under are lawful or unlawful under prevention of
UAPA.
so unlawful activity prevention act. 16 of this act deals with the punishment for terror act and 5 lakh rupees, an amount, a huge amount is carried in a bag and got caught by police in very suspicious circumstances and which is fake currency note, and it's other than terrorist activity. It is not possible that these guys are being innocent. I mean, they are caught under specific evidence have been provided before the court by the council number one, and the punishment for the terrorist act is deal under 16 of these prevention of unlawful activity act. The 70 is 70 rising fund for terrorist act, and
Council.
18 is
Council.
yes.
On page number 12 of your memorial, issue number 3, last line it is written section 16 UAPA punishment for terrorist act. And the subclass 1 is whoever commit a terrorist act, right?
Yes.
But this act commit कहाँ हुआ है? It is just an attempt. So how can you guys can attack section 16? It is just an attempt. आपको तो पहले ही apprehend कर लिया ना? Means you guys have been apprehended from a train with 5 lakh cash. It is just an attempt, right? That's another allegation कि आप bomb लगाने जा रहे थे या जो भी whatever are the intentions. But it is just an attempt, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you admitting this thing or not? Is it an
Yes,
attempt
sir.
or not?
Yes, I'm admitting this.
Because nothing has been committed.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, more.
That's
Carry
a
on.
fact of truth. But it's better to take prevention step than killing thousands of people. It's better to prevent those who tries to kill people and those who tries to violate the nation's peace. So it's really necessary to keep those who violates the law of the land. So as per 16, as we said, it's a punishment for terror act. From the forensics expert, it had been deliberately proven that documents that are the notes are fake and are highly quality. They were transporting a handsome amount of fake currency via train, and the technical evidence is also very establishing that all the connections between accused and proved beyond ambiguity. Multiple mobile phones without SIM cards, constant connection with suspects, and present in the questionable circumstances, etc., is the proof of their involvement in this case. By all this above stated fact, it is clear that it's a violation of both IPC and UAP Act. 17. Punishment. Okay, so I guess the time is over. I'd like to Alex for 30 seconds so that I can make my plea to his court.
Continue. 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just take 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, my lord. That's where in the light of issues raised, arguments advanced, and the authorities cited, the prosecution may humbly and respectfully pray that this honorable court may be pleased to held the adjudge and declare that the allegation against Samir Molu and Karived Mama under section 489B, 489C, 120B, 121, 123, and 201 of IPC have been valid ground. Accused persons can be convicted, and allegations under the UPA Act, which is 16, 17, and 20, are valid as well. And pass any such order or issue such directions or grant such relief that it may deem to fit the interest of the justice, equality, and good conscience. And that's for the act of kindness. The prosecution, as the duty bar, shall humbly pray.
The defense can start their argument.
Okay, ma'am. Counsel seeks permission to begin with the arguments.
Granted.
Counsel seeks permission to refer the bench collectively as your lord. Thank you.
Just move on.
Indeed. May it please the Honorable Court that I am counsel number 1 representing accused Samir Monu and Kalu Mama in the case of state NIA versus Samir and others. Counsel will address the issue of counterfeit currency, criminal conspiracy, and disappearance of evidence, which are specifically Section 489B, 489C, 120B, and 201 of Indian Penal Code. My co-counsel will refer to the issue of waging war and charges of terrorism. Counsel will be presenting today's submission in the following format. First, accused are not liable for using of counterfeit currency as genuine in possession of the same. Second, accused are not liable for the charges of criminal conspiracy as there is no agreement between the two or more who allegedly conspire to commit illegal acts. Third, accused are not liable for the charges under section 201 of IPC as the accused didn't have the knowledge of the act committed. The defense shall move to its first issue.
Sure.
Counsel seeks permission to share the screen.
Yeah, you can do that.
Thank you. Counsel requests the Honorable Court to please refer to page number 16 of defense memo, where section 489B of Indian Penal Code is mentioned.
Page number 16.
Page number 16. So I am screen sharing.
That's issue number 1, right?
Issue number 1, sir. Here it is mentioned in section 489B of states using as genuine, forged or counterfeit currency, notes or banknotes, whoever sells to or buys or receives from any other person or otherwise traffics in or uses as genuine any forged or counterfeit currency notes or banknotes, knowing or having reason to believe the same to be forged or counterfeit, shall be punished with 2 years of imprisonment for life and the imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable for fine. It is clearly mentioned in the section that the person should have a reason to believe that the currency is forged or counterfeit. Then only the person can be made liable under this section. But in the case, accused were not even aware that they were carrying forged or counterfeit currency. Defense witness 1, Samir, in his statement, stated that one day Kalu Mama told us about the project in which we need to carry a bag from one place to another and hand it over to Peter. I and Monu didn't know that in the bag we were carrying fake currency notes. And as and
So
when
means
we
you are
trained these old
speaker.
Delhi railway station, police, police, yes sir,
Speaker. Are you admitting the
yes sir.
fact you were carrying the fake currency notes?
Sir, no, no sir,
Carry
no
on.
sir. Okay, no sir. Sir, so we were carrying fake currency notes. As and when trained these old Delhi railway police station, police arrest me and Monu. Similarly, Monu also stated that they were not even aware what they are carrying. So, in Supreme Court, in the case of Umashankar versus the state of Chhattisgarh, held that mens rea, that is, knowing or having reason to believe the same to be forged or counterfeit, is essential to constitute the offense under Section 489B and 489C of Indian Penal Code. Sir, the defense wants to present that, first of all, that even if they were carrying the fake currency notes, then they are also not liable. The difference will be presenting that they were not even carrying the fake currency notes. The investigative agencies doesn't have any concrete proof except of what they are claiming that the accused have confessed in their custody. Their role in this to be voluntary. And Section 25 of Evidence Act states about the inadmissibility of statements made in the police custody, not backed by a solid evidence. It states no confession made to a police officer shall be proved as against a person accused of any offense. In the case of Deepak Bhai Jagdish Chandra Patel versus the state of Gujarat, Supreme Court held that confession before a police officer not corroborated by a strong evidence cannot be the basis for the conviction, and also the co-accused statements cannot become the basis for trial against another accused.
Counsel,
That- yes, sir. Yes, your
same
lordship.
same section also laid down that sometimes some particular facts which are confined only to the knowledge of accused persons
Accused. Yes.
that are also admissible in court of law in front of investigating officer.
Yes, sir. But
Any confession made in front of IO or any investigating agency which reveals the new facts and the same facts are just confined to the knowledge of the accused person, those are admissible.
yes, sir. But defense
Have
is
you read the
presenting.
complete section? Case law has also been referred over there. If you can refer to EBC criminal manual, there are so many case laws regarding the same facts.
Yes, your lordship. The defense wants to present that even if the accused have confessed, the investigative agencies doesn't have any concrete proof except of what they are claiming about CDR analysis and
But
CFSL report.
counsel,
And
you must be staying on a side. Either you confessed or either you are not confessed. You haven't confessed anything or you have confessed anything. You don't have any middle ground in this thing कि किया भी है नहीं भी किया, या तो तुमने एडमिट किया ही नहीं है और अगर किया है तो फिर you are as much guilty as other persons. Carry on.
so the investigative agencies are putting forward two records as their main evidence: call detail records and CFSL reports. Call details records, which are being used to establish the connection between all the accused, that the whole point is zero, as never none of the accused has refused their connection to each other. Instead, they are accepting the fact that they are in good relation to each other. Samir and Monu are childhood friends, whereas they are in touch with Kalu Mama. They are in touch with Kalu Mama due to work for an NGO, a social impact initiative name organization. Similarly, the investigating agencies frequently stated about CFSL reports. Council requests the court to please refer to page number 19 of defense memo, where Rule 9 of investigation of high quality fake Indian currency notes is mentioned.
Page number
It
19
is
पे it's a rule number 6.
rule number 6. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, when a case has been registered upon seizure of currency suspected to be of high quality counterfeit Indian currency, the investigating officer shall forthwith send the seized currency or a sample thereof to the authorized or notified forensic authority, and the said authority shall forward a preliminary report as to whether the seized currency is high quality fake Indian currency within 15 days of receipt of such samples. Second, the investigation officer shall forward the seized currency by the quickest means to the notified forensic authority, not later than 48 hours of the seizure. And the notified forensic authorities shall communicate the result of the examination to the requisiting officer by the quickest possible means. But here, in this case, it was clearly mentioned in Exhibit 16.4 of chart sheet that the preliminary report was received on 16th April, that is 1.5 months later, and to be specific, 1 month and 18 days later, instead of the required time limit of
So
15 days.
Counsel,
And for
so
and further,
you are
yes, sir, yes, your
Counsel,
lordship.
you are suggesting that the chain of command was in possession of investigating agencies, so the chances of tampering have been increased, right?
Yes, sir, yes, your lordship.
Nice.
Further, it is mentioned that the seized currency should be sent to the forensic laboratory within 48 hours. But here there is no mention of the same, that as and when the currency has been sent to the forensic laboratories. Further, when the forensic laboratories provided their final reports, except the fact that they stated that the currency receipts were counterfeit, they have not provided any further clarification as to how, when, and anything. This shows a big flaw in the investigation. This creates a point of doubt in the investigation. It creates doubt on the credibility of these reports.
You are further suggesting that everything is concocted and made up,
Yes, sir. We
right?
are we are suggesting that this is a there is a high possibility that there is a tempering of evidence, because when they seized the currency, there is no evidence that when they sent it to the forensic laboratories, and as to when, and why it took so much time to receive the even the preliminary report, and final report come after so long time, that is on 23rd May. Now, moving on to the charges of criminal conspiracy, the definition of criminal conspiracy under Section 120A of Indian Penal Code states that there should be an agreement between two or more who allegedly conspire to commit illegal act. But there is no agreement between the accused to commit any illegal act. In the case of the state of Karnataka versus Selvi J. Jayalalitha, Supreme Court stated a conspiracy consists not merely in the intention of two or more, but in the agreement of two or more to do an unlawful act by the unlawful means. A prior agreement or meeting of minds amongst the accused to commit the offense should be there so as to sustain a charge of criminal conspiracy under Section 120B of Indian Penal Code. In the instant case, there is no such thing to indicate that there was conspiracy to bomb blast Indian Army convoys, or there is a conspiracy for counterfeit currency. Mere
Counsel,
statement of
but
yes, sir. Yes, your lordship.
as per the argument of the prosecution, it can be concluded that there might be a conspiracy, first thing. Second thing, the admitted case of defense is that all the accused persons are friends to each other, right?
Yes, your lordship.
So there might be a meeting of minds.
But sir, there
I'm
is
not
no.
commenting anything about anyone, but I'm just saying when five best friends are together and if they want to do something, it's very easy for them because there is a particular meeting of mind. They have the particular understanding with each other. It might possible. So the suggestions of prosecutions are also right.
But sir, there is no concrete evidence to prove this, and further, the witnesses have mentioned in their statements under Section 161 CRPC that they were not even aware of the same, that what they are
Ex-
carrying.
exactly the same statement cannot be admitted, right? As
Yes,
per
sir.
your initial arguments, that same statement cannot be admitted.
No, sir.
They are made in front of investigating officer.
Yes, Your Lordship. Yes, Your Lordship, that is also true. But I want to present that there are two statements made. That first of all, the initial just after the arrest, the accused, the police claim that accused are saying that they are planning bomb blast and all the story. But when they provided the official statements, they clearly mentioned that they were not even aware what they are carrying. They are just good friends with Kalu Mama, and they were doing work for a social impact initiative organization. There is no mention that they were carrying fake currency or they were involved in this and what they were doing and all. That we are saying that there is no evidence what they admitted in the custody of police just immediately after arrest. There is no proof, there is no credibility of what police is saying that accused
Counsel,
admitted.
after how many days the same statement was recorded? The
That there is
statement
no
that was recorded.
that there is no mention of the same in the charge sheet.
Okay. So you are saying this is another lacuna on part of
Yes,
investigating agencies.
yes, sir. The
In
defense,
what, at what duration, at what circumstances the same has been recorded?
yes, sir. Yes, your lordship. The defense all that pointed out that they wants to point out that there are so many flaws, there are so many points which when doubt can be created, doubt can be pointed out in the investigation. The defense asked for the permission to move further.
Sure.
Yeah. So, mere statement of all three accused in the police custody that the FICNs were to be used for the bomb blast couldn't be held conclusive remark, as there is no sufficient evidence to back the statement. The cumulative effect of the proved circumstances should be taken into account in determining the guilt of the accused rather than adopting an isolated approach to each of the circumstances. And of course, each one of the circumstances should be proved beyond reasonable doubt. An act is said to be illegal, which amounts to an offense prohibited by law. An offense of conspiracy cannot be deemed to have been established on mere suspicion or surmises or interference, which are not supported by cogent and acceptable evidence. In the instant case, the fact that Samir and Monu were involved in the conspiracy to traffic counterfeit currency cannot be relied, as in their statements, in section 161 CRPC, they clearly mentioned that they were unaware of the fact that they were carrying FICNs, whereas investigative agencies are claiming that the accused have confessed of the same. Further, they have disclosed about the conspiracy of bomb blast. There is no credible evidence available to prove the conspiracy involved. Further, Section 201 of Indian Penal Code is related to disappearance of any evidence of the commission of an offence. It includes also giving of the false information with the intention of screening an offender. So what Section 201 of IPC requires is that accused must have an intention of screening the offender. To put it differently, the intention to screen the offender must be the primary and the sole objective of the accused. Now, concluding their submission, counsel just wants to conclude by stating that the investigation contains a lot of discrepancies pointed out during submission and insufficient, incredible evidence to convict the accused. Thank you.
Mr. Counsel,
Counsel.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, आप continue करिए.
would you like to clarify why these two people were targeted by the police team, Prajeet?
So,
The train was full capacity. There are a number of people. Why these people? These people were targeted by the police.
Yes, Your Lordship. Sir, it was stated by the prosecution witness 1 and 2 that prosecution witness 1, Guttu Singh, received an intelligence info kind of. He was a pawn shop owner. There is no mention from where he received the info. Nothing. And Iqbal Khan, on which the statements they are relying, they acted out and they raided the trains and they arrested both the accused. Iqbal Khan himself was arrested some days before. And
no, Mr. Counsel. What is the ground? Why the police personnel falsely implicated only these people, these peoples?
Sir,
What is the reason?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Lordship. So basically, the info was from Iqbal Khan, but he was himself arrested some days before in connection of a case in Bengal, and Samir and Monu were involved. Samir and Monu were involved, like they were not arrested. I don't remember the clear facts regarding the same, but Iqbal Khan himself was arrested. First of all, so he cannot be a credible witness, as he was himself being tried in the other case, and there can be a case of revenge, we can say, or anything, just to just to just to disturb the lives of the both the accused.
Whether any enmity of police personnel with the to these peoples,
Sorry, sir.
whether any enmity of the police personnel with these peoples.
No, sir. No, sir. But the
Okay,
ones
proceed.
who informed the police personals may have the
No, no, law could not be go on assumption and presumption.
but the police raided the train just on the basis of the information provided by the
Okay.
Gurpreet Singh Pancho.
Okay, Akash sir, please proceed.
That too is also a ground for, like, how can the police raid just like on that?
So, Speaker, I had one more question regarding your explanation about 201. Can you explain me that thing, please? IPC 201 means you guys are admittedly into the destroying of that particular evidence.
Sorry, sir.
Is it fine or not? I'm just asking. Just can you explain me 201? Why it cannot be attracted against you guys? Means all the accused person. Why 201 cannot be attracted? I'm just in the middle of these things.
But 201,
I think that is about to come. Second speaker, what are the issue that second speakers will be discussing?
sir, he will be discussing. Sir, he will
We'll be discussing
about
120B
waging
and
of war,
201.
waging of war, and about terrorism charges, plus about the evidence, circumstantial evidence, and all.
ठीक है, just explain me 201, please. Why it cannot be attacked against you guys?
Because 201 states in two conditions 201 can be stated, like if the evidence has been destroyed or disappeared, or if the information is given falsely with an intention to screen the other offender. But here is no such case, as the prosecution is claiming that Kalu Mama has destroyed the evidence and in the West Bengal. But there is no evidence, there is no witness, there is nothing to claim.
Why would prosecution need a witness to see if we are destroying the evidence or not? That's your case. That's the burden upon you guys. So
but
have you specified this thing?
But sir, there was nothing recovered which can claim that Kalu Mama has destroyed any kind of evidence. Like everything was normal. So how can the prosecution claim that Kalu Mama destroyed the evidence just by the fact that he doesn't provide?
How can you claim you were not destroying anything, any documents, any notes, or any other thing? Why and how?
Your Lordship, just because of the fact that we were not involved in any kind of conspiracy. Like the prosecution is claiming that we are involved in conspiracy, we destroyed evidence, that a whole cooked up story, but we are not at all involved in any kind of conspiracy. If there is no evidence, what will be destroyed? That is the point of the defense counsel.
Okay, move on to the second speaker.
Thank you,
Your Lordships. The defense counsel, with the prior permission of the honorable bench, would like to continue with the arguments.
Sure.
Your Lordship, this is counsel number 2 on behalf of the defense, and in this submission, I will be dealing with the issue number 3 and 4. Issue number 3 being whether the accused persons are guilty under section 121 and 123 of the Indian Penal Code, and the fourth issue, whether the accused persons are guilty under section 16, 17, 18, and 20 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Starting off with issue number 3, first up is 121 IPC. Your Lordships, there are two main elements to 121 IPC. First one is the intention. intention to wage war, and second is use of force or arms is necessary. Your Lordships, in the present case, there was no intention or the purpose of the accused persons to wage war, attempt to wage war, or abet to waging of war on the government of India. The defense counsel submits that there is no real evidence to suggest that accused had intentions to attack the sovereignty of the state. The statements taken as defense witness under section 161 CRPC and the revelations made by Samir, Monu, and Kalu are simply inadmissible as evidence and cannot be relied upon to reach such extreme conclusions. As far as the statements of prosecution witness Iqbal Khan is concerned, the slogans raised by Kalu Mama during public gathering cannot be interpreted as presence of intention to wage war. Your Lordship has held in Rahul Banerjee versus State of Madhya Pradesh, merely because the applicants or any citizen of the country is raising voice against the government or government policies, or according to him, he is fighting for his fundamental rights and civil rights, would not be sufficient to say that individual person or group of society is waging war or attempting to wage war or abets to waging of war against the government of India. The accused were working towards sensitization of the general public. They were motivated to work for the minority and had no intention to attack the sovereignty of the government of India. Your Lordships, the second aspect is the use of force. In the present case, the act in whose context the section 121 is invoked has not yet taken place, so the question of using force does not arise. Now, moving on to the attempt to wage war and abetment to waging of war, Your Lordship, the defense counsel submits that there was no attempt to wage war. In the case of Abhinandan Mishra versus State of Bihar, the Honorable Court held that we may summarize our views about the construction of Section 511 of IPC. Thus, a person commits the offense of attempt to commit a particular offense when, first, he intends to commit a particular offense. The defense counsel has already proved that there was no intention. Yes, Your Lordship.
Counsel means as far as the submission of prosecution,
Yes, Your Lordship.
there is no commitment of the same offense, but there is an attempt. They were preparing for the same. The accused persons were preparing, so there might be an attempt, but there is not a commitment.
Yes, sir.
Please be clear with facts.
Yes, sir.
It's okay.
Yes,
Carry on.
that is what I'm coming to, sir. The second point is that having made preparations with the intention to commit the offense, that so there is no cogent evidence to suggest that the alleged transfer of FICNs were in any way related to the attack. Even the tickets that were found with the Samir and Monu were from Malda to Delhi. It makes the fact clear that there is no real proof that they were supposed to go to Pulwama, and intention is a prerequisite in this criteria. So defense has proved that there was no intention at the first place to wage war or attempt to wage war, and further the circumstantial evidence are not conclusive and does not complete the chain of events. Further, moving on to abetment to wage war, Your Lordship, in the case of NCT of Delhi versus Navjot Sandhu, it was held regarding the other meaning of abetment, that engaging with one or more other persons or in conspiracy for the doing of that thing, if an act or illegal omission take place in pursuance of that conspiracy and in order to doing of that thing. In the present case, Your Lordship, the fact that Samir and Monu in the statements under section 161 CRPC said that they were unaware of the FICNs as they were present in a secret compartment in those bags suggests the possibility that they were unaware and were working under an impression of helping the social work organization. And the defense counsel has already proved that this act of attempt transfer of FICN does not in any way suggest that it was to be utilized for the bomb blast. So the accused are not liable for the charge of abetment to wage war either. With this, the defense counsel most humbly submits that accused Samir, Monu, and Kalu are not liable under section 121 of waging war or attempting to wage war or abetting to waging
Samir,
of war.
Monu, and Kalu, right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
What about the other?
The trial is working on these three accused, and other one is absconding. And
Peter is absconding.
Peter has committed suicide, so he's dead.
The suicide of Peter, yeah, it's in point number 3. Sohail.
So Sohail is absconding.
Just kept absconding and escaped to Bangladesh, right?
Yes, Your Lordship, according to the charge.
Carry on.
Oh. Moving on to section 123 of IPC, the defense counsel most humbly submits that in the present case, the accused persons, namely Samir, Monu, and Kalu, did not conceal the existence of a design to wage war, since there was no design to wage war at the first place. The concealment by Samir and Monu about Sohail during police interrogation does not make them liable under Section 123, as they did not have knowledge that their omission might facilitate waging of war. The difference in their statement under Section 161 CRPC and the confession suggests that they are not totally reliable, as first they said they did not even know that they had FICNs with them in the bags and were carrying. And with that logic, they clearly wouldn't have knowledge about the outcome of their omission. Further,
But they
there
can
is
lie
no-
as well. They can lie just to save their own skin.
the whole point is that this is not reliable using as evidence to prove
Why?
such extreme sections. So because there is a difference in the statement, there's a stark difference in the statements that totally opposite. So
That's the
this
statement.
creates
You
a
are talking
doubt.
about the statement
This,
that
this
was
should be,
made in the 161 CRPC, right?
yes, and the point is the difference between the statements in the interrogation and the 161, and this should be
You are
seen
talking
in
about
light
the
of the
discrepancy.
circumstantial evidence. Yes, Your Lordship.
Talking about the
Lordship.
discrepancy that was in the statements of all the
Yes.
witnesses. But
Yes, Your Lordship.
again, my question remains: if the same statement is not admitted, okay, but as per Section 25 itself, these certain facts are only confined to the knowledge of these accused persons only. So why they can be admitted? And as per Indian Evidence Act, these facts can be admitted because these are the facts which are confined to their own personal knowledge. I can give you a
Sir,
case law upon
at
that
this
thing,
point,
but I don't remember it right now. Carry on, it's okay.
At this point, so, so the accused, coming to the accused Kalu Mama, he omitted to disclose the whereabouts of Sohail, but that does not make him liable for concealment of design of war, since the knowledge component was also missing here. The knowledge component was missing as by the time NIA got hold of Kalu Mama, according to the charge sheet of NIA itself, Sohail had escaped to Bangladesh. So the argument that omission of Kalu Mama would have facilitated the design of war loses credit, since the main conspirator has already escaped, and according to NIA charge sheet, Kalu Mama was himself the person who helped Sohail to cross border. So accordingly, he should be aware of this fact. So Your Lordship, with this, defense counsel has established that accused Samir, Monu, and Kalu are not liable under Section 123 of FPC.
Counsel, on the one hand, you are admitting the fact that this Kallu Mama himself helped just 2 more minutes, helped this Sohail to escape from India. Okay. On the other hand,
yes, just
on the other hand, you are stating that the statements of the witnesses cannot be admissible in the court of law. So how can you be sure upon these two things? You have to be on the one hand, not on the both hand. I know you're a defense counsel, you can take any advantage, but not in this way.
Your Lordship, the only intention here is to create that doubt that these are not admissible as circumstantial evidence. So we are trying to use their facts
chain of circumstances are
to
not
defeat their
completed.
purpose. Sir, we are trying to use their own facts. We are not accepting their fact. We are trying to use their fact against them to defeat their purpose. That's what I've tried to do this here.
That's what I'm saying. You are trying to suggest that the chain of circumstances are not completed. Am I audible?
Yes, Your Lordship.
I'm suggesting the entire suggestion given by both the speakers is that the chain of circumstances are not completed in the present case, right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Right. Good. Next.
Okay. So coming to the UAPA, since there is a paucity of time, so since it has not been proved from the prosecution side that all three accused were involved in criminal conspiracy to bomb Indian Army convoy, and to achieve this, they hashed conspiracy to transfer high-quality FICNs. As a result, they don't fall under Section 15, Clause 1, Subclause A, and Clause 3, Subclause A of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Hence, all three accused don't attract punishments under Section 16, 17, 18, and 20 of the UAPA. Further, one more thing, Your Lordship, no sanctions were obtained from the central or the state government against the accused. So this is a procedural mistake. Careful perusal of Section 45 reveals that subsection 1 deals with the authority who can accord sanction for the offences committed under Act, whereas subsection 2 deals with the procedure to be followed by the authority at the time of granting sanction. It is clear from the Section 45 subclause 1, if the committed offence falls under the Chapter 4 and Chapter 6, court shall not take cognizance of the offence unless previous sanction is granted by the central government or the state government. Your Lordship, in the instant case, offence punishable under 16, 17, 18, and 20 Act of UAPA falls under Chapter 4. Thus, sanction of central government or state government is required to prosecute the accused persons under Section 45 of the UAPA. Hence, in the instant case, the prosecution failed to bring the sanction needed to prosecute the accused under these sections of UAPA 1967. Thus, the proceeding initiated of the said sanctions are bound to be collapsed. Your Lordship, with this, the Defence Counsel submits the accused persons are not liable under Section 16, 17, 18, and 20 of the UAPA. With this, the defence has submitted all its arguments for the accused person and would like to end the submission.
Means you are resting your case.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So just give us the resting points. Just 3 to 4 points upon which the entire defense was based. And the same question has to be answered by the prosecution as well.
Your Lordship,
just give us the points. Don't.
The chain of circumstantial evidence did not complete does not complete the chain of events. The CDR, which is the main evidence they are presenting, is not admissible under Section 65 Clause B of the Indian Evidence Act. And statement in interrogation is not admissible. To an extent, there was no fact revealed because of their statement, to that extent only. So these are 3 main points of the Defence Counsel.
Any other? No? Speaker one.
If the speaker one might have some, so he's.
Speaker one. I didn't get the satisfied answer. Means what I'm looking for.
So,
do you have anything?
One more point. So yes, sir. CFSL reports, right? There was a
Perfect.
CFSL reports.
Perfect. Keep it. Good. Prosecution means court master. We are permitted to say this thing or not?
Sir, can you pardon?
I'm just asking, can we get few more minutes? We just need another point from prosecution.
Yes, sir. We have.
Prosecution, anyone who is interested, please give us your points upon which you guys are relying and admitting the case.
My lord, the first thing is that the sections here dealt with to dealing with the section. Each of the section that are presented here is with the fact that are clear, or fact that is clear and proved beyond ambiguity if you look into the facts. The second thing is that the second thing is that you can't just state upon things by saying that it's just you can just state the possibility. You have to just by saying that conquered by the NIA is not admissible, and the main evidence, which is the fake currency note, they are not kids. First thing, they are grown-up man. They should be using within this bag. They might be having their needed things. The things are kept in that bag, and the claim that they didn't know that the thing is in this bag is not acceptable. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that dealing with the punishments and all the sections dealing under the unlawful act is permissible or is entertainable in this court. So that's the facts that we want to state.
कृष्ण मोहन सर, आपको कुछ पूछना तो नहीं है या should we
No,
call
sir,
it
thanks.
off? Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Rajat?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Codemaster.
Thank you everyone for joining
Thank you.
us. Especially thank you to the judges.
Thank you.
And
Should we disconnect?
with you, sir.
Should we disconnect the call?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With your due permission.
Okay, guys. Bye bye. Best of luck.
Thank you, Your Lordship. So can we exit?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.